Hi viewers, this is Lisa. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. I wasn't planning on taking a video right now. I'm trying to get the shadow away. Yeah, I didn't come down in my basement with the intention of taking a video, but when I peeked in on well, at least on the first bin of my Euros, they looked so awesome. I just wanted to share. You know, it's like when you have a kid and they bring home a paper and they got an A on their report card and it's like, ooh, you want to tell all your friends. Well, I guess when my worms are looking fat and plump and healthy, I like to share. And it also helps teach others what it is I did to get them this way. And I've learned from so many others as well. So what you're seeing here is a little bit of what's left of their last feeding. They had a can of canned organic pumpkin. And I'm going to tell you that these worms, I've already disturbed them, so they're not going to be all in a ball. But these worms fattened up and became so thick after eating this canned pumpkin. I mean, look at these Euros. These are some fat worms. Now, of course, they're going to try to make a fool out of me because I've already been through them. But these are some, I mean, they're shiny. I guess they're always shiny, but let me switch hands here. I'm not a right-handed person. Or I should say I am a right-handed person, but I just want to try to get a few in particular that I saw that were just like, wow. Now, that's exactly what a Euro should be, kind of thing, you know. When I moved them down to my basement, I was a little concerned, minimally concerned about the cool temperatures, so I've been feeding a lot of high nitrogen foods. And this last time I gave them, like I said, it's pure organic pumpkin. Oh, I just put the flash on accidentally, but that might be good. And there's still a little bit left. But when I came down here and I took off the reflective mylar I have on the top, and I saw these guys all scurry down, I had to peek in on them, and I was just so impressed with the size. And I mean, look at this guy. Come here, guy or gal. No, you're both. Come here, worm. They're just so nice. I'll turn the flash back off. I didn't mean to turn it on to begin with. Stupid sausage fingers. All right, let's see. So, yeah, okay, here. I mean, these guys, look at this Euro. I mean, it's almost as fat as my finger. Well, at least almost as fat as my pinky finger. And long. And just really, really healthy. I don't know, I guess. Here's some more in a little cluster. Look at these guys. Now, I have 2 bins of Euros. It was simply this bin, and I split half of the contents into another. And for some reason, the others, at least I haven't checked them today, but up till now, they hadn't been doing as good. And I don't know why, because I split the material equally. You know, it was their old bedding. I added some new of the exact same bedding to each, and I fed them both the same, and they are side by side. It could just be that, you know, look at this. Look at how big this Euro is right here. It could be that because I took a lot of Euros out of my urban worm bag and added them to the Euro bins, and it could be that the ones I pulled out of the urban worm bag, which weren't doing as well in there as they could be, they were probably a little bit smaller, and maybe I added more of those to the other bin, which it doesn't matter because they too were fed a can of canned pumpkin. So Hopefully, I'm going to check on them here in a minute. Hopefully they're doing really well. But I just wanted to show you how fat and plump, and this is a young worm, I can tell from its length, but despite that, it's a fat sucker. Yeah, let me just flip this over here. Oh, I see another big one here. I mean, this is a fat worm. And they're not real hyper. Let's see, you can see the swollen band. This one's getting ready to do what they do best. Their temperature is not terrible. I mean, it's cool, but it's definitely not outside of their range. Here's another one. These guys are just so fat. Which that's how you want your worms, if they're the type that's supposed to be fat. I mean, the Indian blue worms, they're always just going to be long and skinny, you know. This guy's upside down here, but let me flip him over. Looking good, looking good. I'm pleased. I think that canned pumpkin, well, there's two things that happened. If I take a close-up, which I will, hold on, I'm going to spin the phone all around until I find what I'm looking for. For those who get seasick, look away. Well, hold on. Okay, so if you look at this handful, you see like right here, the piece of leaf? And I mentioned this in another video, and I don't think I posted that one because when I looked at it, I didn't like it. I took pieces of just old bills, and between them I laid dried oak leaves from my oak tree, and then I fed it through the shredder, and I shredded the leaves that way. And so they have dried leaves in their bedding as well. Well, they're moist now, but they were. So, you know, they got a new carbon source. They got some of the ground bean pod, and today they're going to be getting some of the yucca plant that I did a video on just recently. So, all right, well, you can see how beautiful and fat my Euros in this bin are. Now, I'm going to grab out the other bin. Let me just check the corners. I'm going to grab out the other bin because there's no reason they shouldn't be the same unless I added more from the urban worm bag to that bin, and they were smaller because I had gotten a shipment from Midwest Worms, and they were spectacular Euros, the fattest Euros I'd ever seen. And they did initially lose some weight, which happens. And then I had some that I'd had for a long time. I had some from Uncle Jim's that were several years old, and some that I acquired, I'm not even sure from where. So some were in the urban worm bag. Look at this guy. Look at how fat he is. That's a fat worm. Some were in the urban worm bag, and the ones that I got from Midwest Worms, I had put in a bin by themselves, and I've since added worms from the urban worm bag to both bins. So there's different suppliers of worms in these bins. So even though they're all the same species, they may not have all started off the same, and some may have some catching up to do. Look at this guy. This is another fatty. I'm just impressed with the thickness of them. Okay, I'm going to pause and grab the... Okay, I've got out the second bin. I haven't pulled the cover off yet, so whatever's going on in there, we'll see together. Looks like it's doing a good job at keeping in the moisture. Okay, I don't normally leave coffee filters in here, but boy, this guy's awfully white looking. Although, it's definitely a Euro. He was just right up here on top of this. Well, there's a couple of them up here on top of the coffee filter, which I don't normally leave in here because I find they take forever to get eaten, but There's also a really nice euro there. Not seeing as many on the top, but that doesn't mean anything. Now, their pumpkin was in the middle. Does look like I'm seeing them. Yeah, this is a fat worm. So these guys too bounced back. Now, there's no way for me to know if this is one that I got from Midwest Worms or if this is one that was in the urban worm bag. There's no way for me to know that now, but I'm hoping, now that they're all together and they're eating the same and they're in an environment that, they seem to be thriving in, they're all going to fatten up and reach their maximum size, regardless of their origin. Let's see. Hold on, guys. I'm going to dig around, then I'll move the camera right back. Okay. So here's some of the pumpkin that's still left. Sorry, guys. I'm going to rip you off it. People want to see you. You're famous. They're just fat. They're just fat. So they're doing really well. Let's try to dig over here. And the population in these bins is not tremendous. I'm going to say, I don't know, maybe there's 150 worms in each bin, maybe not even that. Now this is the sides, which is much drier, but yet you always have some worms that want to get off and do their own thing for whatever reason. This is a smaller one. This is probably one from the urban worm bag, but that's okay. He might be small. He's in the right place to get big. Here's a nice chunky fat worm. And the color on him too, the coloring is indicative of eating really well. So I think the various added carbon sources, none of which are cardboard, and the canned pumpkin, and maybe the cooler temperatures, because they do prefer cooler temperatures than red wigglers. It's just gotten them nice and chunky and plump. Maybe they're going to go on the Thanksgiving table instead of the turkey. I don't know that they'll appreciate that. That's a fat worm right there. That is a big fat worm. This bin is a little tad bit drier than the other one. Looks like, both of them are pretty much out of food. So, well, not out, but they are very low on food. So I'm going to have to add another can of pumpkin. And, geez, look at this worm. Look at this worm. Look at this euro. Of course, as soon as you pick them up, they stretch out and they don't look as impressive, but trust me. So yeah, the canned pumpkin has a lot of moisture. It's going to be enough. Like there's a little bit of pumpkin left right here in my hand that they're in. It's enough moisture for down here. There's no source of heat down here. It's really low humidity, but there is no heat, so it's cool. So it's not going to dry out quickly. Oh, there's a bean. Oh, I just squished the bean. Everybody see that? I squished the bean. Here's a nice one. Here's a really nice one. Wow. Geez, I could put a leash on this thing and walk it. Usually, if you hang them, they will stretch all the way out. Of course, now my phone doesn't want to focus. I'm just trying to give you an idea of how long they are when they're stretched out, but looks like for the most part they're all at breeding readiness. I'm not seeing the cocoons, but then again, I'm going through this material pretty quickly, and because there are several, oh, I just said that, and then, oh heck, me and my stupid eye, no, there was a cocoon in my, oh, there it is. There's a cocoon right there on my finger. So, yeah, see, it's so close to the color of the shredded leaves and the corrugated cardboard that it's really hard for them to see. That one's a darker one, so it's getting close to hatching there. Let me, up here's a, I just saw it. Oh gosh, my eyes stink. Oh no, they don't smell bad. They just don't work well. Sorry guys, I'm moving the camera. Oh, here it is. Here's a newer cocoon. This is, it's not 10 minutes old. It's maybe a day old. It's just barely starting to darken up. And it's a pretty big cocoon, so there's probably going to be several eggs in there. You know, I just recently learned, I had a misunderstanding of cocoons, and maybe you all know this, or some of you know this, but it isn't a cocoon. We got a runner. Worm cocoons, I've always told, you know, a cocoon can have 2 to 7 babies in it. That's true, but there's another step involved. Within the cocoon, there are individual eggs, little tiny egg sacs, and each worm, or each cocoon contains multiple egg sacs with an embryo and everything a worm needs to grow while it's in the egg sac, which makes a lot more sense because that's how pretty much everything else that comes out of an egg survives the incubation stage. So it's multiple little worm eggs inside of the cocoon, and they hatch individually, and that they can hatch all at once, or they can hatch over a period of days, I just learned. So if you come across a cocoon and it looks pretty well, or it looks like it's broken open and you think all the worms are done, they may not be. You may want to, I'm just digging around and rambling, you may want to, you know, just leave it in there. I don't take them out anyway because they do eat them. But yeah, I wonder who else knew that. I just read that on some fancy science, way too technical paper that I came across on worm breeding. Wow, this is a big worm right here. Of course, he's going to stretch out. He's fat. All right, well, I'm done showing you these, guys. I have to go get them more food. Right now, we're doing the canned pumpkin because I've got 2 gigantic turkeys in my freezer, blocking the food, all the frozen food. So until after Thanksgiving, we're just cheating with canned pumpkin. But hey, I don't think these guys are complaining. All right, guys, please leave a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Ask any questions if you have them. Leave any facts that we would all like to learn from. And your whatever the word is I'm looking for, your viewing time and your interest in my channel is always much appreciated. You know, it's not a big channel. My goal is to get to 200 subscribers so I can get the community tab open and put up some other information under there that's not just videos. And that YouTube doesn't unlock until 200 viewers, which I don't understand because, I mean, I would think video content can contain a lot more questionable material if you were someone who was going to do that than the community tab where you can put up just documents, you know, literature, or maybe do a poll. But that's just how YouTube is, and there's nothing I can do to get around it. So, you know, I'm a quarter of the way there, no hurry. But the sooner it opens, the sooner I can provide some information that I would love to share. And I can get more feedback from all of you. All right, guys, have a great evening. If I don't do another video before Thanksgiving, happy Thanksgiving for those of you that celebrate the day. And if you don't, then just have a great day, whatever it is that you do. Take care.